Stop killing!
My grandma's been on this earth for 92 years, and she's been oppressed for all 92 years of her life, and I'm here to change that.
If this doesn't piss you off, you are doing something wrong. We're here today to make our voices heard, because the more that voices are heard, the more that things change, the more people start to listen.
I'm here because I'm a firm believer in Black Lives Matter. All lives cannot matter until Black Lives Matter.
Every day, like, I'm scared for my dad, I'm scared for my brothers, like... Sorry, I'm like, trying not to cry.
Okay.
This is 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, an African-American teen who was shot and killed by George Zimmerman in 2013. When Zimmerman went to trial for the death of Martin, his case was acquitted, and Zimmerman was allowed to walk free.
In the Circuit Court of the 18th Judicial Circuit in and for Seminole County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict: we the jury find George Zimmerman not guilty.
This was the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement, a movement dedicated to combat systemic racism and violence towards Black people. On May 25th, 2020, local Minneapolis police officers were called on George Floyd when he allegedly was using counterfeit money to buy cigarettes. George was placed on the ground during the arrest with 3 other officers standing by, as one, Derek Chauvin, a white police officer, knelt on his neck and back for a total of 8 minutes and 46 seconds, which led to the death of Floyd. This has led to the actions of protest all over the country and even the world in outrage at Floyd's death.
In a remarkable show of solidarity, protests against racism and police tactics are showing up around the world.
In Britain, officials had asked people to stay away, but they weren't listening. Instead, thousands defied the COVID lockdown rules to deliver a message of solidarity with American protesters.
From the death of George Floyd, many have taken action against racial injustices, specifically Black people, but none more vocally than the youth. With so much going on around the Black Lives Matter protests, the voices of the youth are being drowned out by the news, politics, friends, and family. Whether they want to focus on the looting, the violence that is being taken against police officers, or vice versa. That is not what most of these protests are about. And that's why I went around to local protests to focus on the youth and allowed them to speak on why they were at the protests and what Black Lives Matter means to them.
So if you could just sort of tell me why you're here and what this all means to you, and sort of explain also what your poster says.
Yeah, so I'm here to support what's happening in this country around police brutality, and I actually grew up right near here, so it's really interesting to be in a town that is mostly white, growing up as a Black person here and seeing all these people in support of Black Lives Matter when this has been an issue that's been going on since before I was even alive. But I'm so proud of everyone that's here right now and showing their support. And I also just wanted to highlight that it's not just Black lives. We also need to pay attention to Black trans people who have been murdered by the police, children, and just hoping for a better life and a better future.
We're out here because we know that we have a voice and we know that we have privilege, and we are using that privilege to speak out against the injustices that Black people in America are affected by today in the U.S. And we, as the younger crowd, we want to spread a message of love and inclusion for all of those that are in our generation and those younger than us, and hopefully we can make the United States a more accepting place and raise those below us to be as accepting as we are.
I think to a comparable extent, I saw a lot of racism growing up in a more nuanced way than what you would typically find in the 60s, 70s. It's not as simple anymore as, hey, that guy has a white hood, he's bad. you have to try to identify little things, even within yourself, and trying to counteract them. And I felt that just coming here today or celebrating is obviously the wrong word, but trying to share within the protest is a good way to help the community and help, the general population of not just America, but around the world, because this is a problem that's more than just American,
I have friends and family of color, and I just need them to know that I'm with them and that I hear them, and that they shouldn't have to live with this fear every single day that just leaving their house they could be killed because of the color of their skin.
And as a minority person, as a Puerto Rican in society, anytime I've left my city, I've always been viewed as Black and been viewed as a minority. And I've always been treated differently based on that factor. And it created a big sense of, no, I'm done, I'm tired. There's a certain sense of urgency. I have a nephew coming into this world, and the last thing I want him to do is feel is that he's gonna be unloved or unaccepted in this society. Because as a woman in this society, I feel very unloved and unaccepted. And as a men in this society, especially Black men, they especially feel unloved and unaccepted.
My name is Victoria. I'm here today for a lot of reasons, and it's really hard to condense it into something that you can fit into like a 30-second clip. But one of the main reasons that I'm here is so that future generations of girls that look like me, or future generations of girls that are darker than me, don't have to worry about their safety, don't have to worry about their place in the world. And I'm an actor, and part of my industry is still very predominantly white. So it's like you have to start with racial equality in every aspect of your life. And I think as being a face for that and hoping and fighting and continuing to be present in things like this and things that happen in the future is gonna make a difference. You have to think of the longevity of like what you're doing, like how will this impact anyone in the future? And I mean, there's already people warning us to leave because there might be groups that wish to cause us danger or to start trouble, or I mean, like just have ill intentions. And it's like you have to stand there now more than ever is what I feel. I mean, part of me is so angry, like I don't want to say that I'm hoping things pop off, but there's a part of me that's so angry for my people, that's angry for myself, that's angry for how I felt for so long, that I wish there would be people that would show up and tell me to silence myself. Because I would be even louder. And I have to be louder, because if I don't see something, no one will. And that's how I look at it. All these people are here, but they're fighting today. I've been fighting every day. And I will continue to fight every day, because it doesn't just start here and it doesn't end here. That's all I have to say.
I'm here because I feel like, especially within schools, I posted the other day, history books tried to put an end date on our oppression, and that's not what happened. Because if it was happening, then we wouldn't be here right now. A lot of people are saying that these people are rioting and doing the different things, but we're out here just trying to make our voices known. I have 3 nieces. I have a Black sister. I have a Black mother. I don't want my nieces to have to grow up and live in this. My mother has cancer. She can't come out here and be around all these people in protest. I'm here for her. I have friends who have different compromised immune systems that want to be here and want to support, but they can't, and they do what they can. I'm here screaming for them. I'm here screaming for myself, because as a Black man, I'm scared to go outside during the day. I'm scared to go outside at night. I'm scared to sleep in my house because there are people coming into people's houses. Police going into people's houses and killing them while they rest, while they slumber. People who have done nothing to deserve it. I'm here because, not to say that every race doesn't have criminals, but the criminals of the Black community they're not being treated justly. Someone who may or may not had a counterfeit $20 bill is being murdered when there are people who are committing mass murders, and we're giving them Burger King, and we're feeding them water, and we're taking them out on gurneys saying it was mental health issues. But just look around and you see that everyone here is dealing with mental health issues, and you don't see us going around and shooting up places. Black mental health matters. That's another reason why I'm here. I am a Black man. I am a member of the LGBTQ community, and I'm here to show my voice and to show that I'm here, and I will have to deal with this forever, and I have always had to deal with this since I was born because of the color of my skin. And that's just how it is, and we're trying to change that. But change starts out here. As she said, there are people trying to come here and start problem, and that's not what we want. But we're not gonna back down. We can't back down. We can't be silent. No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice!
Today fighting for my family's rights, my father's rights, and even my own rights. This is something that needs to be put to an end, and the police need to start holding each other accountability for their actions and stop abusing their power.
The one thing you cannot do right now is remain silent. Silence is what's the root of some of this. The more we speak up, the more change is going to happen.
Just to wrap that up, all lives don't matter until Black lives do.
I mean, I think especially with Washington being a predominantly white town, it's really important that we practice solidarity and show up for people, like, even though there aren't many Black bodies here. And I think as the movement expands, it's really important that white people put themselves between Black bodies and the police, because they know that their bodies hold a privilege that allows them to be protected in the eyes of the police force and their brutality. And for me, like, Black Lives Matter is right now is much more than justice for George Floyd. It's a reimagining of the way in which we operate as a society, and it's looking to abolish a system that was adopted as a evolution of the slave patrol after modern day slavery ended after the Civil Rights War. And so it's important to understand the history of the police and who they serve to protect and who they oppress. And this is a town where we're allowed to protest without police coming and tear gassing us, and it's important that we use the small amount of community that we have to raise awareness about a cause that will then expand. And with Washington being so socioeconomically privileged, it's important that rich people, and particularly rich white people, redistribute their wealth and donate to organizations such as Reclaim the Block and Unicorn Riot that are actively working to bail people out of prison, to help people that are activists right now that are protesting, and to support Black people in all different facets of their lives, not just when they're protesting.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
So we're here today to make our voices heard, because the more that voices are heard, the more that things change, the more people start to listen, and people need to listen, because we have been saying this for far too long, that Black lives matter. They matter. The relationship that the society has with the police matter. Violence everywhere needs to stop, and until we can trust law enforcement, it's not going to happen. Until we can trust each other to come together and have each other's backs, the violence will not stop. So we need to stand together and recognize that we are one, and the violence needs to stop.
Important to me because right now, Black lives are in danger, and that's why we are here. All lives will matter once Black lives are in danger. Like, once Black lives matter, that's when all lives will matter again. But right now, at this moment, Black lives are in danger, and that's what we're focusing on, and that's what we're trying to, because people are suffering, people are tired, they're scared, and they had enough. So once they're not in danger anymore, that's when all lives will matter.
So for me, this protest is important. All of these protests are important because we've been dealing with oppression for 400 years, give or take. I am a Dominican American, so that makes me Afro-Latino. In the Dominican Republic, our roots come from Africa, come from natives that were stripped of their land, the Taino Indians, and Europeans. And Dominicans, in their mind, have this myth of being like this perfect blend of races, and they just don't acknowledge their blackness. They claim that they're not Black, that they're Dominican, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. They are not mutually exclusive. It's not really a matter of opinion, it's just a matter of fact. A lot of these Dominican Americans have, African blood running through their veins, and they have the nerve to say that this is not legitimate or that race doesn't exist. I had a family member say that on the internet today, that race doesn't exist, and he is about as white as it gets. He's real white, and he's my blood cousin. And I'm just like, race doesn't exist? I thought I was your cousin. But I feel my purpose is to educate my community, is to educate other Afro-Latinos, and to help them understand that, we have to. We have a duty to stand in solidarity with Black Americans. Whether we consider ourselves to be African American or not. I mean, technically, Dominican Americans are not African American. They don't have that same history, and they don't understand. And it's my goal to help other Dominicans understand. You know, it's not, I can't just be mad at everybody, because if we are not here to change people's minds, then why are we here? Why the fuck are we here? And that's really it.
Today to protest for Black Lives Matter and to advocate for our Black brothers and sisters and the injustices that are happening in the United States and the oppression of the system of cops, and to just get away systematic oppression and to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Does anyone else want to talk?
It's gone too far and it shouldn't have gone to this, so it's kind of, you know, it's honestly very sad that we have to be here today. So.
And I think especially our generation in particular has been trying to take a hold of this, with women's rights, with global warming. We've been really, really trying to make things better. And I think that we're finally fed up because we've hit a boiling point, because this country is built off of racism and we've finally had enough. And so we're done. And this is a point where we've boiled over and now we want to make this country better. And the only way to do that is to hold everyone accountable. So hold your friends accountable, hold your family accountable, make sure that casual racism is no longer a thing so that this doesn't have to happen.
I can't. This is not only about George Floyd. That was the tip of the iceberg. This is about better laws. This is about reforming better laws. This is about ending systemic racism that's rotten this country from within. It's time for a change. It's time. It's time.
No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
So for me, personally, this movement is, it hits home with me being Black, so it means a lot to me. I'm not from here, but like seeing all these people come out here, like it's just really nice to see a lot of people, you know, come together and support something that's real for like a lot of people. Like I wake up every day and like I'm scared for my dad, I'm scared for my brothers. Like, sorry, I'm like trying not to cry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, this is my stepsister. We're from Southington, so we drove like 50 minutes here. We're just trying to go to every protest we possibly can for the same reasons. It's just really scary when you have people of color who you love, and it sucks being scared for them to like go out and not be protected by anyone if something were to happen to them. So that's basically it.
Awesome. And then anything from you want to say?
Yeah, I'm here because I think that white silence equals violence. It's not about being anti-racist. You know, you can be anti-racist, but you got to do something about it.
Kind of like means to me that it's my people's freedom and it's the right to be a human being. So it's just standing up for being able to breathe and walk the streets without getting killed at night for being Black.
Race has been a target for too long. People's skin colors are the reason that they're being like shot and hurt and bullied and abused and harassed and diminished, and it really needs to end.
People are tired and we need a change in this country. You have to be the change you want to see. I don't know if you want to say something.
The only thing I have to say is if you're not out here with all of us, you're a part of the problem. You're part of the oppression. Get your ass out here and protest.
We're here today at the Torrington protest. Everyone here is protesting for Black lives because we think that everything that's happening right now it's not right. It's like we shouldn't be judging people by color on our skin. There's nothing that differentiates us, and there's no reason why we should be discriminated by the police. All of this, it's not new. The suppression and abuse of the system has been going on for ages, and it's time for our generation to stand up and act out, to speak about Black lives. It's horrible.
Like she said, it is something that has been going on for a long time. I think it has kind of been masked by the fact that like we're not in slavery anymore, or things like that. But we are still very much oppressed, and it's important for us to stand up against it as the youngest generation.
So we're out here today because something needs to change in our world today, and it's not going to change unless it starts with small towns and people like us who may not feel directly affected, but we can make a big difference. So that's why we're here.
Awesome. Nikita, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah. My grandma's been on this earth for 92 years, and she's been oppressed for all 92 years of her life, and I'm here to change that.
Damn, take hers.
My name is Lou Conans. For my state, I'm an artist in Connecticut. I go by Paradox. You know, we out here in Torrington, Connecticut today. We out here protesting. It's beautiful out here. We have lots of support. We have Caucasians, Hispanics, Blacks, African Americans, you name it. We out here. It's a beautiful thing that we're doing, bro, because we're enraged. This shit has been happening for over 400 years, and we're now just standing up to this shit. Like, it's crazy. I'm angry. When I saw that video with George Floyd on YouTube, I was angry. I felt his pain, bro. And that's why I'm out here for him. So, you know, I got everybody out here, my friends, all my Caucasian friends that's out here supporting. We love it. We love to see it, man. This our generation. We taking over. It's time to make a change. It's time to make a change, man.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Hey, I'm Lauren, and I'm here because born as a white woman in a good socioeconomic place, I have a lot of privilege, and I'm here to fight for my black brothers and sisters because, unfortunately, they have nowhere near the same privileges I do, and they're being slaughtered every single day, and nothing's being done about it. And it's important for us as the youth to stand up because we are the future. The old white boomers in office don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck about black people. They don't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter, and we do. And we're not gonna fucking stop until we get what we want, and that's justice.
We out here because our lives matter. Yeah, we're right, all lives do matter, but black lives are dying right now. We're standing up for our rights to live. People are literally standing out here because they don't want to die. They want to live, and you got people that are scared of change. You're resisting change because you want the people in power to stay in power. We want power too. And that's why we out here. You don't. It's not black or white. It's not black against brown. It's everybody against racism. Look, you got white people here. You got Asian people out here. You got a lot of people out here. People want rights. We don't want to die because I'm brown or black. We want our rights.
Our country's called
Don't
the United
resist
States
change.
of America, and we're not united right now. So,
bro, you
that's
guys want to
out
make
here.
a change? Look
here.
what's going on. You guys, we cannot let
Let's all
4 more
unite.
years of this go. So go out and vote, bro. All of us together, we can do it. We can make a change, y'all. So remember, November 4th, you guys sick of this shit? Go out and vote. Do something, you know? This is doing something. We got to get together and do stuff. Actions. Go out. Tell your friends to vote. Tell your girlfriends. Fucking send texts, emails, whatever Instagrams you guys are doing. Everybody register to vote.
Register to vote.
Ask your friends.
Learn the
if you can
policies
vote,
of the
you know?
people that are running for office.
Trying to call out what's been going wrong with the world. You know, so many people have been oppressed for so many reasons in so many ways, and it's unjust, it's inhumane, and we need to make a change. People don't know the power we have when we come together. If you look behind you right now, you'll see this mass of people awareness of what's fucked up with the world. Sorry about my language.
No, you're good, don't worry.
This is a positive movement. This is something we need to keep going, keep positive, knock all the negativity out, because negativity is what caused this and caused us to be in this point we're in. Too many people are suffering, and it's up to us, especially the younger generation, to make a difference and make an impact and let your voices be heard. If you see something, say something. These aren't just words, there's weight to them, you know what I mean? It's troubling times, and we need to just come together. And this is what it means to come together, because we're making a difference, one town at a time, one voice at a time.
you.